Dreamcast guy is mad. Dreamcast guy is very angry, chat. He is mad. He's so mad. He's ready. Here we go.
PlayStation is officially just giving up on their old games. It feels like they don't actually care.
What? What?
PlayStation is officially just giving up on their old games. It feels like they don't actually care about their retro franchises.
Damn kid keeps breaking me. Me.
There you go, B-Soms. That one worked. Not even holding a PlayStation controller. Yeah, for real.
Popular in the first place. For the most part, they've kind of just ignored it. And even more recent games that have become incredibly popular, like Bloodborne, they don't even acknowledge it. A couple days ago, literally a couple days ago, was the 10th anniversary of Bloodborne, which seems like one of the most popular PlayStation 4 games ever. It didn't even get a tweet. But I wanted to talk about this today because
they don't care about Bloodborne. Because they don't care about you. All they care about is what's going to make us the most money. And how many copies did Bloodborne sell? $7.46 million copies in 2022. How many copies did Days Gone
Finally,
sell?
Pizza the Hut.
Finally, Pizza the Hut. 9 million copies. I think they're looking at Bloodborne and saying, Elden Ring came out, it's a better game. Other games came out, it's a better game. There's no reason to do it.
It's almost as if a CEO said we believe in gens.
Almost, right, Game Shark? Almost. Why would people play old games? That's super weird. I think they could make a ton of money off Bloodborne. I think one of two things. I think they lost the source code.
If you're not God of War, or The Last of Us, you are ignored.
Yeah, Random Boy. I think they lost the source code.
DCG only has two viewpoints. Either he's mad or he's wrong.
That's what I think, chat. I think they lost that source code. How did fans port it? They just took an ISO from the emulator. Doesn't From Stuff have the code? I have no idea.
I, Dreamcast guy, sniff my own farts.
Thank you, Jax. That could be it. That could be it. That's. I mean, that was a big reason why FF8 took so long to get a remaster. Because they had to rebuild the game, basically. They'd be too embarrassed to admit it? I think so. I think they might have just lost the source code. And it's tied with
Where's
Japan
my
Studios,
pizza? Yeah. Why you look at me?
Yep. I think that's what it is, chat. I really do.
So, the source code is in my bussy.
Yes, Smoke Show.
yesterday, there was a Nintendo Direct. A lot of people hated it. The main conversation is worst final Nintendo Direct, but I had a pretty good time. Yeah, a lot.
Wait, what? Was it hated?
By what's even worse than Bloodborne not getting a new remastering. Croc, The Legend of Gabos betrayed all of us by going multi-platform and releasing April 2nd. What a world, what a world.
You sure?
You're exposed. You're exposed. You are exposed. Exposed.
Tamagotchi Live?
Exposed. You are exposed, sir. I'm going to expose you. Expose you. Oh my God, expose you. Exposed. 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 Exposed.
I think everybody's excited for Tamagotchi Life. So I think you're wrong, and I think you're lying. That's what I think.
A lot of the games sucked, but it had Metroid, so I was happy with it. But there was something exceptionally strange. New PlayStation games from PlayStation Studios.
Yeah.
But
Detective
not
Seed called out MBG 2 hours ago on X.
No shot, dude. No shot, dude. No shot, dude. Uh-oh. 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 Drama, drama, drama. Hey, MBG, can you say my name next time, man? I don't get upset about those things. I have been cited because I have a track record over 95% accuracy. No one bats 100%. Happy to tell you how I get info, as well as I'm very transparent. He didn't block you too, did he? No, he did not. I was tagged in a clip and responded politely. Damn. Hot dog.
made by PlayStation and not exclusive to the PS5. But let's talk about it because
It's almost like they don't care.
What's worse than Bloodborne not getting a remastered? DCG still being on YouTube.
No, he could be on YouTube. It's fine. It's fine.
I think that Sony is starting to change.
There it is. We fucking got it, chat. We got the goddamn controller, chat. There it fucking is. He fucking did it. There it is, baby. Yes.
Coming hard.
That's not an Xbox controller. That's a PlayStation 1 with Spider-Man.
Their strategy with AA. They only want to have the biggest, craziest, flashiest games, but for their classic series, their classic IP,
Classic.
I think they're going to let other people kind of just do their best with it. Let's talk. Hi, hope you're having a great...
Why? So it's almost crazy, right? They shut down Japan Studios, where they could have just let Japan Studios make those games and make them multi-platform. Instead, they go out and they have other people sign away the rights, not sign the rights, but like have access to that.
Alex,
And
I
then-
want your seed. In me. We would have a perfect derm, actually, guy, but the DCGs doesn't capture the tone of voice right.
DCG is the least offensive fanboy.
I think so. Yeah, I think he's the least offensive one. Sure, I agree to that. Wannabe hobo. Alex, I need your seed in me. Yeah, that's gonna be.
Valve need to drop SteamOS this October.
I would like it actually. I would move to totally Linux on that because I don't really need Windows anymore on my PC. Actually, I do for a couple of games that don't really play well.
It says Sony own the IP, but From Software own the source code.
Really? Maybe From lost it. It had to be something.
Great day. And if you could, please give this video a like and subscribe if
No.
you haven't already. So, here are the two games they revealed yesterday that, I mean, everybody is so confused by, but it's now been 24 hours and they're
Why would it-
releasing these completely new logos. If you grew up playing Hot Shots Golf on the PlayStation 1 especially, I put so many hours into Hot Shots
be
Golf.
awesome.
Verbally, I may not be offensive. Visually, sorry.
Oh my God, you guys, stop it. You guys are so bad. Stop it.
They brought it back. We're getting a completely new Hot Shots Golf. Now, in Japan, it's always been called Everybody's Golf. They combined it. So now the complete name is going to be Everybody's Golf Hot Shots. But Patapon, I am obsessed with Patapon
Yeah.
because I'm a big PSP fanatic. They're bringing them back. They're doing a remastered coupled
The least
collection with
offensive
new
fanboy?
features.
I swear I remember Dreamcast Guy coming into popularity by spamming early leak reviews of From Software games and calling them trash.
Wait, is that true?
From Soft has said Sony need to okay it.
Okay. All right. So From Soft needs to. Okay. My immediate thought though is like source code. Like that was my thought because it happened to so many other games too. Like that's the big reason why a lot of other PS1 Square Enix games aren't being made, because of source code loss. That's why I thought that too.
From Software can't remaster or make a new one without Sony permission, and knowing Sony the one exclusive only, and From Software don't.
That could be why. That could be why too. Or they're just working on so many other things like Elden Ring too.
These have been remastered on PlayStation 4, but now they've actually fixed some of the glitches to timing and stuff, that very essential rhythm game. But people are like, bro, seeing these two logos in an official Nintendo Switch graphic is still surreal. What a time to be alive.
If FromSoft owns the IP to Bloodborne, what if they lost the source code so they made Elden Ring?
Huh.
Bloodborne can't compete with Zelda.
No, it can't, Harmon. No, it can't. So your thought process is they purposely lost the source code to just make Elden Ring instead? That's pretty devious.
5 Alex, I need help getting your meat in me.
I don't know if they would do that, but that does seem pretty devious.
This is an official tweet by Nintendo, basically advertising some great upcoming PlayStation games. But people are already beginning to say, okay, so it seems like what's happening is Bandai Namco has secured the rights. Now, Bandai Namco has actually been doing other stuff with...
Bandai Namco is already putting more effort into preserving and marketing PlayStation classics than Sony themselves have done in the last 15 years. I'm sick to my stomach. Can you read that, DC? Can you read that? Can you read that, bro?
With PlayStation, but they already have commercials ready. They already have advertising. They already have a big media blitz.
Isn't that sad to think about? That's kind of crazy, too. That's kind of what my video was about today, but I guess, went over his head.
Going on for these games. It's so cool to see Patapon coming back. God, I love Patapon. Bandai Namco is already putting...
religion.
We do, Donnie. Thank you for the 2.
More effort into preserving and marketing PlayStation classics than Sony themselves has done in the last 15 years. I'm sick to my stomach. Now,
it's almost like I said today in today's video that Sony only cares about the PS4 and onward. Like, I feel like that's all they care about. And if it doesn't match what they were talking about in the PS4 era, they don't give a fuck. If it's not like what they did with PS4, where it's like super hyper
I get
realistic.
what dreams whenever I see Dreamcast guy that I oi myself h. My pant nose.
I oi myself. Thank you, Sleepy, for the 5.
Shove a Wiimote up my rump.
5 Hey Gamers.
Hey gamers. Yep. Yep. 100%.
5 The Rhythm Heaven reveal was more boring than an MBG stream or a knee-B tweet.
Or a knee-B tweet. Thank you for the 5 Psalms.
I think this person's being hyperbolic to be silly. They have championed some classics. Right. We did have the medieval remake in Shadows of Colossus, but definitely...
That didn't... No! There's so many other IPs from PlayStation that did nothing. Then they shut down Japan Studios. That's what they're talking about.
For easily the last 8 or 9 years, Sony has been dead silent about their classics, other than drip feeding us stuff on PlayStation Plus Premium. But I have seen people saying,
isn't enough.
Okay, if all 3 of these games, Freedom Wars Remastered, Hot Shots Golf, Patapon, if those can all be licensed, if those can be revived, if those can be brought back, maybe they can bring back Bloodborne. Bloodborne is also technically under the Japan Studio IP. Now, thus far, this very
Steam
much seems
and
like
GOG really is saving the US market due to cheap ports.
Yep.
I remember Bandai Namco just stopped selling in the US and instead releasing in Europe and Japan for games like Digimon and Gundam.
I remember that, and I know that Bandai Namco is doing other things too, of releasing in other areas of regions.
Let me
too.
drink your seed out of you.
I guess Sony doesn't have a choice but to have companies like NBG make their games. Sony did shut down their Japanese studios.
You dirty little seed drinker.
Big pivot from what PlayStation has typically been up to. By far, the company, the studio that people have talked about the most as sort of the canary of the coal mine when it felt like PlayStation kind of pivoted tactics is Japan Studios. They're just
Jinx, you want me a Coke?
to be a group of people.
Reforge, Big Daddy Sony doesn't care about slop.
I don't have a Reforged voice, but I appreciate that, Cold Cole. Thank you for the 2.
Oh, frost my face, you muscle daddy banana.
Oh my god. Okay. All right, guys. This is the last one, guys. Come on. Come on, guys. We got to get through this, guys.
I want your seed to grow in this book.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Death Stranding.
Death Stranding? Okay. Okay.
Specifically inside of PlayStation, that's job it was
Alex,
to
I
make
cannot get my wife pregnant. Can you help us out?
No, I've had a vasectomy. We're firing blanks over here, baby. Only thing that pulls out in this house is the couch.
Coming hard.
Listen, I go fucking balls deep and I leave it in there, baby. Hey, listen, she gets pregnant, it's not mine.
lower budget, incredibly good classics. You know, Knack, Ape Escape, Gravity Rush, Puppeteer, obviously The Last Guardian, Loco Roco. These are all games that, even if they're not winning a ton of awards, even if they're not the biggest, craziest thing ever,
I relaxed my anus and my Joy-Con fell out.
Try to relax your anus.
Good job, Smoke Show.
they're good games. They're incredibly good games that are creative and different, and I feel like different is the important thing. You know, so many people make memes about the fact that everything from PlayStation is an over-the-shoulder, narrative-heavy experience. They don't do a lot of shooters. They don't do a lot of online stuff. It's just games, right? Well, I guess current PlayStation's very obsessed with live service, but Shuhei Yoshida,
which is also a third-person, over-the-shoulder narrative experience, because they even put narrative experiences inside of Concord. They tried to make a live service game like their fucking single-player third-person games by adding content drops of story and FMVs. It's crazy.
25% tariff. Whoever say those games are Sony.
Yep, Miguel, thank you for the 2.
Recently left PlayStation, and now he's allowed to talk about whatever he wants. He's been making jokes about how he's now he's legally...
I let go of my weeb ways, Alex. Breed me!
The Last of Us and Days Gone ruined PlayStation.
Uncharted did. It was Uncharted, Jawbreaker.
Try to relax your seed.
I think it was all Uncharted. That's what it was. That was the tipping point, in my opinion. That's what it is. That for me,
this Lil Piggy went wall.
Thank you, Chris. I appreciate that. Thank you for the 5. I think it was Uncharted. I think Uncharted started it, and then The Last of Us tipped it over the edge. That's what I think it was. They were like, well, this is it. This is the formula.
I'm sorry I was so rude before, but it's difficult for me to express myself when I am on the verge of exploding in my pants.
Thank you, Goat. I appreciate that. Thank you for the 5.
Allowed, because he's not tied up with PlayStation, he's allowed to talk about how excited he is for the Nintendo Switch 2, but he says that a major reason he left is because he felt weird about the fact that they were shutting studios down.
And they fucking demoted him, too.
US Studio says that Japan Studio was shut down because PlayStation does not want AA games. They only want AAA. But here is the main reason I want to talk about this. I think that...
Does Sony movies need stealth elements?
Yeah, because how is she going to get around? Duh. Thank you for the 2, Boom.
In a way, PlayStation has perhaps, and I'm being very optimistic here, they've perhaps found a way to have the best of both worlds.
How do you think this is a good thing? Oh! They shut down Japan Studio where they could have just made those games in the first place, given you sequels to those games, and then done even more with those games, or make new ones. Instead, they're going to license out their IPs to do that instead.
Just the tip, please, and injection your seed.
Thank you, Razor.
Where they can focus their budget, their time, their marketing on the
Whenever
big
it
AAA.
started, we all know who is responsible, Naughty Dog.
Isn't that crazy, Jawbreaker?
A step that's going to make, hopefully, billions of dollars and sell PlayStations. But at the same time, they're going to make it so they can license their older games. They can basically say, all right, other people, you're allowed to remaster this, to do whatever you want. We want a big cut. Like this. People are...
We don't know what the cut's going to be.
Daddy!
Fuck you, Bashy.
How do I look, yellow man?
Basically be like, okay, Sony has now officially started licensing out their dormant intellectual property to third parties. We've seen this now in 2023 with the Fantavision remake. We've seen this year with the Freedom Wars remaster, Patapon, and Everybody's Golf. These all being brought by Bandai Namco. It seems like we could be getting other remasters as well. Games that maybe deserve to come back, like Gravity Rush or Tokyo Jungle.
Oh no, it's Alex, that bisexual bum.
That bisexual bum.
Bro, the
Okuwo, where's my baby Zelda?
Yeah, SOCOM, Dave. But the thing is, they already had Japan Studios doing this. So instead of
Naughty
closing
Dog
down...
can skip a whole console gen for games.
Exactly, Cold. Instead of having Japan Studio just make the game, they shut them down to give the license to somebody else. Methality. That's right, Randroid. Thank you for the 2.
Games that are not just incredibly good, but in a lot of ways, I feel like they would sell 10 times better. Gravity Rush and Tokyo Jungle are very, very famous games because they were so overlooked. Gravity Rush is like a time tilty game. You can basically attack by controlling gravity. You turn gravity to hit people. You turn gravity to run up walls. And
imagine thinking the thing that...
How do I look, yellow man?
That's right.
How do I look, yellow man?
Imagine trying to twist this into a positive thing. That's crazy.
You can Naughty Dog.
Thank you, VR Gamer. Like, that's fucking crazy how he's trying to twist this into a positive
hey,
thing.
Alex, so calm these nuts, my baby daddy.
Bro, Smoke Show, stop.
Solve puzzles and stuff. Incredibly good games. They're extremely, extremely unique. And at the time, they admitted that even for how tiny the budgets were, they sold almost 0 copies. And PlayStation was disappointed because they couldn't tell it was good. People that played it could tell it was good.
Wait, what?
Banana Daddy, clap my cheeks like they're Donkey Kong bongos.
Mark Kern Grums led a double life as a pornographer.
Alex, we need to do the naughty doggy.
Who wrote, produced, commissioned, filmed, and directed Fetish Corn for over 2 decades.
You keep telling me to relax my anus. You'll end up with accessory to commit biological attack charges.
Try to relax your anus.
There's no way that's real, dude. There's no way that Grums made. There's no way, dude. I can't believe there's no. That's not real. That's not real, bro.
Everything's computer.
There's no way. There's no way that's real, dude. There's no way that's real, dude. I don't believe it. I'm gonna watch the video. Apparently there's a timeline video. I'm gonna watch it off stream. I don't believe that to be true. There's no way.
Hey, PlayStation. You want $50 to $60 from me? License the MotorStorm series to a studio with experience making arcade racers. I'll buy a remastered collection or a new game, I don't care. Give it to me.
I'm leaving you, Alex. Josh is my new daddy.
FoxyFighter.com was registered by Grums in 2001.
Grums took my job as the fluffer.
Russian Catfights was also owned by Mark Kern. He was one of the milk people that drank the breast milk. All right, well, I'll take a look at it. I'll take a look at it.
And the same for Tokyo Jungle. That was like a open world roguelike that was incredibly difficult at the time, but now people kind of appreciate good difficulty. Roguelikes are now more popular than ever. I think that PlayStation perhaps
more like Coombs, right?
Yeah, exactly. More like Combs.
Has started to think about how they handled Spider-Man when it comes to the Sony movies. Now, keep in mind, Sony technically owns the infinite rights to Spider-Man. They can make whatever they want, anytime they want, as long as it's a movie, right? But the Spider-Man movies were never as big and popular as they wanted, which is why they eventually lent Spider-Man to the Marvel movies. That's why you didn't see Spider-Man for a very long time until, like, phase 3? I have no idea how the Marvel movie works anymore.
I don't think that's true, chat. I feel like that's not right. I feel like, so he's talking about the movies. It's just for the movies.
But that's when they started to basically say, okay, you can put Spider-Man in movies, you can have Tom Holland swing
okay, it's movies
around and make this new era of Spidey with No Way Home and A Long Way Home and all that. But we want 10%. We want 10% off the top of all your...
Is it 10%? I think he's just making up a number.
Your box office. So basically Sony found a way to make hundreds of millions of dollars for very minimal work. I think
what up, Sabrina?
They're trying to replicate that in the gaming business of, okay, we have this back catalog that everybody still wants, but we just don't want to focus our efforts, our time, our development, our marketing.
At this rate, Sony might as well give Killzone and Resistance to ID Software.
Yeah, exactly, Boom. Like, that doesn't... Then why does Sony even exist?
Astrobot and Sackboy are gonna be Switch titles. I'm calling it now.
I can see that, Jawbreaker. Yeah, so if that's the case, then why not just give your IP away? Then your IP is not as valuable as Reforged says it is, because if you're just giving it to other developers to make games on, why does it matter? Give Killzone to id. Yeah, fuck it. Give it to Bungie. Fuck it. That doesn't make any sense. Give fucking level 5. Give Astrobot to level 5. That'll be sick as fuck. They can make an RPG out of it. Like, what are we doing
on these games? What if we license it out
Killzone?
to studios that we know are good, that know what the hell they're doing, that know how to put something out?
I need 500 cc of bleach to the brain after the mental image of Grums in Corn.
Yeah, same. True. I feel like he would also have like a really big belly and like somewhat man-titted. But also he would be like, you know how like you see somebody and you're like, they're damp. Like they're not sweating, but you know that if you touch their skin, it would be clammy and wet, but just like damp enough. I feel like that's what Grums is. Just like a damp person. Like on the brink of sweating, but not sweating. It's time to stop. I'm getting tired.
And the reason I'm excited about this is because not only does Bandai Namco rock, I think I like the idea that if these games sell good,
Sony only owns the movie
I don't know about
rights.
rock.
They also have to make a Spider-Man movie every few years to retain the rights,
Got
so they
you.
revert to Marvel.
So here's why I think Square Enix has been putting out a lot of their older games recently on PC and remaking them or remastering them, is because of the rights. It's been like 30 years. So they have to remake the game or re-put it out there to keep that right theirs. Which is why Saga Frontier 2 randomly came out, or Saga Frontier 1 came out. Like Legend of Mana, like I feel like that's what's happening.
The studios are now on their own incentivized to make their
I agree,
own
Anime
sequels.
Rick, I agree.
A Patapon 4. Another Hot Shots Golf is coming out. That's extremely cool. What about a Gravity Rush 3? We already know they're doing a Gravity Rush movie. What happens if we get another re-release of Gravity Rush 1 and 2, and then those sell great because of the movie, and then we get a Gravity Rush 3? We're never really going to get back to the magic we had with, well, I mean, the amazingness of Japan Studio, but if some of that magic can live on, another Ape Escape, more crazy weirdness like Knack,
then they shouldn't have closed down Japan Studios. Then don't close down that studio. I want Vegan Story Me Too.
I feel like that is what I miss most, is the quirky uniqueness, where it's a great series, it's weirdness, but also it just feels unlike anything else. I miss that era of PlayStation. But
you're sitting here Okay.